In this video, we will get familiarized with some of the basic functions in Python, and we will learn how to use them. To start, first we will see what are float and integers. In the language of Python, any number without decimal place is called an integer. For example, if I write 6, this is an integer, whereas a number with decimal places is called a float. If I write 6.0, it becomes float. We can check whether a number is a float or an integer by using the function known as type. I write the function type, and then in the parenthesis I write the digit which I want to evaluate as a float or an integer. The command tells me that this is a float. Similarly, if I enter just absolute 6 value here, and then I run the same command, the answer is that the digit is an integer. The integer is shown by a short form int, whereas float is shown explicitly by float. Now, we will see some rules on float and integers. If you add 2 integers, you will get an integer. But if you add a float and an integer, you will get a float. The same applies to subtraction. We have 7 minus 1.0, and the answer is 6.0. So if any of those numbers is a float, your answer will be a float. But sometimes if you enter both digits as integers, you can still get the number as float, especially the answer is not possible as an integer. For example, if 10 is divided by 3, you are bound to get a float here, which is 3.333. Another function to get familiarized in basic Python is absolute, which is shown by the keyword abs. With abs, if you write any number here, it will give you the absolute value. Now, if you write -4, the absolute value of -4 is 4. So the answer should be 4. If I press absolute minus 3.33, it will give me 3.33. If I remove the sign and again run the command of absolute, I can get this number. The absolute function can be performed on simple numbers as well as on complex numbers. For example, if I enter 5 plus 6j, and if I hit it, I get 7.810. You might be wondering, how does it work? This function can be understood by this diagram. The absolute value of complex number is given by this way equation. Let's say, consider 5 as a in this formula and 6 as b. Then you take square, a square plus b square, which becomes 5 square plus 6 square. And this number turns out to be 61. And if you take square root of 61, that number turns out to be 7.81. And that's the value that we get. Another function that you should know is the length of the object. If you press length, you can get the value of length, but you need to define. For example, if I say I define a variable that is equal to something like that, and then I say length of, it gives me the total number of alphabets inside it. So if you see this word, there are 6 characters in it. So the length is 6. I can write this code in a simple way. If I say length, and then I put those in inverted commas like D, E, F, R, E, something like that. If I say length, and then I put the characters in there and I enter the code, it gives me 6 as an answer. I modify the word, and now enter the same code, I can get 9. So, the number of characters here are given when I run this code. Another important function that you should know is the round. If I say round, and if I put any number there, it will round it off. For example, 6.4 will be rounded off as 6. However, if there is 5 after decimal, the number will be rounded off through Banker's rounding. If I put 6.5 and the number before decimal is even, this 0.5 will be dropped off. However, when this number is odd, it will be rounded up to the next higher number. For example, if you take 7.5, you round it, you get 8. Another important command that you should know in Python learning is print, which is the most used command. Print can be used to print anything. Let's say if you want to print. So if you say print, I'm a student, you need to put this string in inverted commas before the print command can be accepted by Python. If you print, I'm a student, it will be printing as I'm a student. But if you remove these inverted commas and then you start printing it, then it will give you an error. So anyways, we will discuss those errors in a different lecture. We can also print in a different way. We can first define a variable, and then we can call that variable through print command. For example, if you define a variable here, we have a equal to I am a student. And then I say print, you can see I got the same text, I am a student, because I define this as a variable, and this is equal to I am a student. And when I print it, anything inside, this is printed here. With this video ends. Stay tuned for more interesting and informative videos. If you like this video, then share and comment. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more informative videos.